The year 2021 will go down in the history books as the dark ages of PC gaming. A global silicon shortage had strangled supply chains to the point of suffocation. A cryptocurrency mining boom had turned graphics cards into money-printing machines, stripping them from shelves before they even touched the ground. Gamers were desperate. They were holding onto ancient hardware, praying for relief. It was into this absolute chaos that NVIDIA launched a card that was supposed to be the savior. It was called the GeForce RTX 3060. On paper, this was the successor to the legendary GTX 1060, the people's card, designed to bring the new Ampere architecture to the masses. But the RTX 3060 was not a normal launch. It was an anomaly. It was a glitch in the Matrix. It arrived with a bizarre feature that made no sense at the time: 12 gigabytes of video memory. That was more than the flagship RTX 3080, which had launched just months prior. Why did NVIDIA do this? Was it a mistake? And now, years later, as the dust has settled, why is this strange? Mid-range cards still the undisputed king of the Steam hardware survey? Is it actually good? Or was it simply the only water available in a burning desert? Welcome back. I am Asterix, and this is the definitive story of the RTX 3060. To understand this card, we first have to look under the hood. The RTX 3060 is built on the GA106 die, using NVIDIA's Ampere architecture. Ampere was a fundamental shift in how NVIDIA designed their streaming multiprocessors. They doubled the floating point throughput, which allowed marketing to claim a massive increase in CUDA cores. But there is a nuance here. While the 3060 boasts 3,584 CUDA cores, you cannot compare them one-to-one with previous generations. In real-world gaming, the performance jump wasn't quite as mathematical as the box art suggested. It was faster, yes, but it wasn't a miracle. However, we need to address the elephant in the room, the VRM. When the 3060 launched, NVIDIA's lineup looked ridiculous. The high-end RTX 3070 had 8 gigabytes. The ultra-high-end 3080 had 10 gigabytes. And then, sitting at the bottom of the stack, was the budget 3060 with 12 gigabytes. Why on earth would the cheapest card have the most memory? The answer isn't generosity, it's engineering restrictions. The GA106 chip uses a 192-bit memory bus. Graphics memory is installed in specific configurations. With a 192-bit bus, NVIDIA had exactly 2 physical choices. Option 1, install 6 gigabytes of memory, just like the old RTX 2060. Option 2, install 12 gigabytes. There was no middle ground. They couldn't do 8 gigabytes without cutting the bus width, which would have crippled the card's speed. And because modern games were already demanding more than 6 gigabytes for high textures, launching a 6 gigabyte card in 2021 would have been marketing suicide. NVIDIA was forced into a corner. They had to give this mid-range card more memory than they wanted to. At the time, tech reviewers laughed. They asked, who needs 12 gigs of VRAM for 1080p gaming? The core isn't fast enough to use it. They were wrong. Fast forward to today. Games like The Last of Us Part 1, Hogwarts Legacy, and Alan Wake 2 are punishing graphics cards. Suddenly, the owners of the more expensive RTX 3070 are finding their games stuttering and crashing because 8 gigabytes isn't enough anymore. But the humble RTX 3060, it keeps chugging along. It might not have the raw horsepower, but it has the capacity. It doesn't crash. That accidental engineering decision made the 3060 the most future-proof card of its entire generation. But raw specs are only half the story. We cannot talk about the 3060 without talking about the software ecosystem. NVIDIA's secret sauce is DLSS, Deep Learning Super Sampling. The 3060 features dedicated tensor cores that use AI to upscale your games. It takes a lower resolution image and reconstructs it to look like native 1080p or 1440p. This is the lifeline that keeps this card relevant. While AMD's competing cards rely on traditional software upscaling, the 3060's hardware-based AI solution generally provides a cleaner, more stable image. This is why the 3060 survived the crypto crash. When the miners finally dumped their cards and the market flooded, gamers had a choice. They could buy a slightly faster AMD card, or they could buy the 3060 with its massive RAM buffer and superior feature set. The market voted with its wallet. The RTX 3060 sits in a very specific place in history. It is the 1080p king. It handles almost any modern title at high or ultra settings at 1080p. If you try to push it to 1440p, you will see the cracks forming. The memory bandwidth just isn't there for high-resolution gaming without compromises. But for the vast majority of PC gamers, 1080p is still the standard. For that standard, this card is the baseline. It is also worth noting the trap that NVIDIA set later in the card's life. Be very careful if you are buying one today. NVIDIA quietly released an 8GB version of the 3060. They didn't just cut the memory, they cut the bus width to 128-bit. That version is significantly slower. It is a wolf in sheep's clothing, designed to trick uniformed buyers. When we speak of the legend of the 3060, we're speaking strictly of the original 12GB one. So what is the verdict? The RTX 3060 was born from chaos. It was shaped by a silicon shortage and defined by an awkward memory bus limitation. It was never the fastest card. It was never the best value card at launch. But through sheer luck and accidental engineering, it became the survivor. It outlasted its big brothers. It survived the crypto wars. And today, it remains the most popular graphics card on the planet for a reason. It is the reliable workhorse that refuses to become obsolete. For the price of entry, it offered us something that no other card did: longevity. And in the fast-moving world of technology, that is the rarest feature of all. I'm Asterix. Thanks for watching.